My name is Dr. Danny Smith, and I am the Consultant and Clinical Lead for Rehabilitation Medicine in the Western Health and Social Care Trust. Today is a day that we celebrate the relaunch and renaming of Spruce House to the Northwest Centre for Neurological Rehabilitation. Over the past 5 years, there has been significant improvement in service and development of new services within this centre. This includes, in 2020, the movement of the community brain injury team to our centre. This has allowed really good symbiotic working between ourselves and the community brain injury team, leading to better inpatient and outpatient outcomes in the long term. Today, we celebrate with all of our inpatients, outpatients, and service users and everybody who's been involved in the launch. It's really been a special day for all involved, and it's really only the start of what we look for, a potential rebranding of our entire centre.
My name's Katie, and I was a patient here in 2019 following a serious road traffic accident. I think about my time in here on a daily basis when I break down the smallest daily tasks, from getting out of bed, standing up without any help, using the bathroom, showering, brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, dressing myself, and making a cup of tea. These are all basic, everyday tasks that I couldn't do when I arrived here. Things that I took for granted before I sustained a brain injury. I don't remember the majority of my time in hospital, as I spent a large part in the ICU department of Beaumont Hospital in Dublin, where I was in an induced coma. But I remember waking up one day and realising that my life had changed. As a young girl in my 20s, this was extremely frightening. I knew everything was going to be different now that I had lost all of my independence. I was brought through those doors in a wheelchair by a nurse, and my nerves were in bits. The idea of meeting people for the first time after my accident was daunting. I didn't want anybody to see me. I knew I looked different. I remember being greeted by lots of smiling faces, which really put me at ease. The nurses all took the time to get to know me, Katie, as a person, not just as a patient. They even gave me a different room on day 2 because they learned how much I loved my dog, and my new room had a door to the gardens, so my partner could bring my dog in to visit me. This meant more to me than anything in the world. My dog was able to visit me regularly and even made friends with some of the staff here. This is just one example of the care that the staff provide. It is tailored to each individual's needs. As well as the basic day-to-day steps to get out of bed in the morning, it was the community neuro staff who enabled me to go even further. An occupational therapist took me shopping to ensure I was able to follow instructions. She also reminded me how to cope with important life skills, like how to manage money. It was the clinical psychologist here who supported me mentally and helped me feel that my life goals were still achievable. It was a physio here who taught me how to walk again, firstly with a walking frame and then eventually with no aids. It was also one of these physios who re-taught me how to use stairs, and it was the inpatient staff who kept an eye on me while I was practicing walking in the corridors at the weekends when there was no physios in. I didn't like it when anybody had a day off. I didn't want anything to slow down my progress. To say the staff here felt like family sounds like a cliche, but there's no other way to describe it. The nurses held my hand on the darkest of days and encouraged me when I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. When I was practicing walking with the physio, it felt like I had a whole group of supporters, which was the nurses cheering me on, literally every step of the way. I even managed to persuade one of the nurses to pluck my eyebrows for me because I was determined to look like my old self again. I'd never missed an eyebrow appointment before. It was the incredible care that I received here that allowed me to get home to my family, and then being an outpatient enabled me to continue to improve, to be able to drive again, and then I was eventually able to get back to work again too, which was always my main priority. Even before I could walk, I was thinking about how I could make it happen, and it was thanks to the neuro team who made it happen. I know that not everybody gets the same results following a brain injury, but in the Northwest Centre for Neurological Rehabilitation, everybody gets the same care. I'd like to finish with a round of applause for everybody in this building, as well as behind the scenes for everything that they do every day. I wouldn't be standing here without them.